Hi, I'm Melinda Van Fleet, and welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. I'm an author, speaker, and success coach who helps women believe in themselves, build confidence, and take action. In 2009, my husband Ryan and I were laid off at the same time, and we moved to the Florida Keys without jobs, not knowing anyone, hardly any money, and we never even been here. But we made it. And now, not every day is sunshine and rainbows, but we're living our best lives. All along in our journey, I've always said that someday when we get our shit together, we will help others. So each week, my intent is to be relatable and bring you tactical tips, tools, share my learnings and stories that can help inspire or transform you wherever you are in your career or general life and make an impact. I strongly believe that if I can do it, you can do it too. So what's stopping you? Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Good Karma Success Coach podcast, and thank you in advance for joining me. Before we dive into this week's topic, which is about the law of attraction, I wanted to mention my other podcast. For those of you that do not know, I have another podcast. It was originally called Crush It in Sales, and then I changed it to Confident Conversations this past January. And I realized there was a disconnect in some of my content, so I just switched it again to creating confident content. And episode 104 of that podcast explains why and the shift, and I'm really excited about it. I just think it makes a lot of sense. It's been a journey. Most people do not have two podcasts. And for me, I started podcasting. That was the first social media platform I went on. And there's a lot of reasons why behind that, which is something I help others with and share in a lot of different content. But just seeing that podcast evolve over time has been really fun, and I love it. I love my new thumbnail. If you don't follow me on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, I had posted choices between a couple different thumbnails. So I loved getting everyone's votes. I appreciate that. And so check it out. If you are a content creator, meaning that you are an online marketer, you're a small business owner, you're a speaker, you're a coach, you're a network marketer, content is not going away. It's only getting more and more important. And so many people are hiding, are struggling, have triggers, have anxiety, have judgment and comparison challenges. And these are all things that we keep inside our head, and they keep us small and stuck. And I know that because I have been there. So I am someone who has gone through it, who walks the walk. And if you follow me, you probably hear this consistently throughout my content, me sharing examples of different scenarios. But it is really important to be able to break free or at least minimize those challenges that we all have. And in conjunction, I have a lot of experience with the tactical piece of it, being that I am on a lot of platforms. There's a reason why I actually believe in being on several platforms, if you can handle it. And I coach on all that too. So if someone needs help with starting a podcast, writing a book, being a blogger, maximizing Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, that doesn't mean you need to have the biggest following. Those days are done. Those days, it's not happening like that anymore, people. And the people that have 80,000 followers that aren't big names have likely bought them. Let's get real. So just being out there and consistently producing content that makes you feel good and helps others is what's important. And that's what I help with. And that is what that podcast is about. So check it out. Again, Creating Confident Content is the name of the podcast. And episode 104 explains the shift. So I just wanted to mention that. And I just feel obviously really passionate about it. and helping people in this way. So check it out. Now on to this podcast episode. And, again, this is along the lines of content, but I'm putting it in this podcast because this podcast is definitely my more spiritual hobby podcast. If you read Life and Love Lessons, I actually have a chapter on spiritual hobby. And that is because it's about the law of attraction. And when you create or consume content, how that makes you feel affects the law of attraction. It's pretty simple, right, people? But people aren't thinking about that. Or they're not making changes about that on a vast majority level. Now, some people are, so I don't like to speak in like such firm generalities because that's not true. But there are a lot of people that are not really paying attention and recognizing this and making shifts. So last week, it was really kind of funny that on Tuesday, when I did my Transformational Tip Tuesday in 3 minutes or less, which is on my YouTube channel, and definitely check that out. And I post that in LinkedIn, and there's a link in my Instagram, in my bio FM, and then also on Facebook. But that tip last week was about content creation and consumption in regards to the law of attraction. Because with Mercury and retrograde, I feel like sometimes people end up writing these articles about how this planet's shifting and this planet's shifting and all these bad things are going to happen and whoa. Or you'll be talking to someone and be like, oh, everything sucks and everything's terrible. Blah, 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 blah. It's because Mercury's in retrograde. And you're just like, what? And not everything negative, the world's not crashing, is about, Mercury retrograde. Like there's so many aspects to that. And I don't really get into astrology, to be honest with you. It's I don't know, how do I put this? Like, I get it, but I don't really get it, right? I don't follow it to a T. I do kind of look at the moon once in a while and think about it, full moon or new moon, but I'm not really an astrology person, and I'm certainly not an astrology expert, but I'll read an article and be like, oh my gosh, why are they making it so crazy? So it is kind of one of those things. So the whole premise of the Tip Tuesday was about paying attention to content and how it makes you feel, and then thinking about it in regards to the law of attraction. Because what you think about is what you attract, and how you feel is what you attract. It all goes together. So if you're reading something, then that's negative, you're going to draw that negativity to you. And yes, you all know this. I know you all know this. But that's the thing, is not everyone's really practicing it and taking it into consideration. So what ended up happening Tuesday night was Ryan and I were trying to find something to watch. We don't watch TV every night, and we are very selective about our programs that we watch. But Tuesday night, we're like, hey, we're caught up for the day, so let's sit down together and watch a show. And we had caught up on all our programs from the week before. And Ryan's friend had suggested a new show that's on Netflix, a new Netflix series that was supposedly really good, called Squid Game. And so I'm like, okay, sure, we'll check it out. We like his friend. His friend's a great guy. Of course we trust him, blah, 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 blah. And I don't even know if his friend has watched it. It wasn't even about that. It was just that he suggested it. And we started watching it, and about 15 minutes in, I'm like, I am not feeling this vibe here. And I am not someone who likes to watch things about gambling. It is just not something that brings up warm, good, fuzzy feelings for me. I have known many men to have committed suicide because of gambling debt. When I was in college, there were 2 different guys that we knew and hung out with that committed suicide. And it was about gambling debt. And I know it can destroy lives and families, and it's a very, 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 very serious addiction. So I'm not a fan of gambling. I'm just really not. And I personally don't make it a big practice either. If like I go to Vegas or something, I might play a little bit on a slot machine, but I certainly don't make it a big part of a vacation for me. So, but I do understand that some people can be very responsible and can be very lucky. So I see both sides. But in regards to the program, I really didn't want to see someone struggling with a gambling addiction and his family and all of that. It just wasn't really a great thing to be watching. So I said to Ryan, I'm like, how are you feeling about this, show? Because he has strong feelings also about gambling because his grandmother gambled. And so he was like, yeah, I don't know. My friend said it's really good. And, we're like, okay, so we're just trying to balance the whole thing. So we continued to watch and I started Googling on my phone and started reading the reviews, reading some articles. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. All right, we'll just continue going. Well, the show gets a little wild. And we finished the first episode and we're like, well, that was like really heavy. And we started into the second episode. And about 10, 15 minutes in, my brain is like going, turn this off, turn this off, turn this off. This is not doing you any favors. This is not positive. This is not making you happy. This is not putting you in a good place. Turn this off, turn this off, turn this off. And I look at my husband finally because he's sitting to my right on the couch and he's playing on his phone. So I'm like, okay, you're not even watching this. So I looked at him and I was like, hey, Ryan, you're not watching this at all. You're playing on your phone. He's like, yeah, we need to turn this off. I'm like, okay, cool. So we turned it off. So it's just a perfect example of like recognizing that some content that you are consuming is not doing you any favors. It's not making you feel good. I wasn't feeling good watching it. Ryan wasn't feeling good watching it. And you want to be in a feeling good place, right? So you shouldn't sit in your emotions. You should move through them. Just like if you're sad. If you're sad, be sad. Like definitely, like get it out. Move through the emotion. Try to understand why are you sad, or just sometimes you just need a good cry, right? But you want to move through the emotions to get in that better feeling state where your inner being is lined up with how you are actually feeling. You want to be in a good feeling state. So just like someone will say, any type of, trauma coach or psychiatrist or, life coach like me, will say, definitely, experience the challenging feelings you're having, whether it's sadness or anger, just feel that and like move through it. It's the same thing. Like, why are you sitting in bad content? Like move through it, like turn it off. It's pretty simple. Turn it off. And don't let that become something that draws into you. Like if you're sitting there watching that program and thinking about all the debt you have and oh my gosh, and then your brain starts going on this like massive rabbit hole to the fact of what happens in that show, like that's not doing you any favors. That is not doing you any favors. And personally, when I watch a show like that, there is good debt out there. Any business person who has grown their business has likely used debt in a positive way. And money is energy. Money can come back to you. So there have been times where I have had like no credit card balance, and then there's times where I've had credit card balance, and it just fluctuates based on the needs of our businesses and what we have going on. So I don't consider debt to be a bad thing. I never have. And it's just my point of view. So, and I know a lot of people would agree with me on that. So to have a program that puts people in a negative headspace versus a positive headspace about money and debt, and that you can, work and clean things up and nip off credit cards by increasing your income and getting smart about your business, is really a more positive mindset to be in versus that you're going to get shot. So, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling the show for somebody out there. I should have put spoiler alert. I'll put it in the show notes. But that's like a whole mindset shift. And that's getting on the right page with the law of attraction. You want to be friends and have good things come to you, right? So let's be friends with the law of attraction and be happy and positive and have like good things come to us. Let's have them bring, the law of attraction, bring like nice things over, not bad things over. And another point that I always think about, and I've never said this yet on a podcast, but I see it all the time, is Ryan and I are child-free. This is just another great example of bringing things in. And we never, ever have bad comments made to us. I've never. And it's really been amazing that most people don't even ask us, like, why don't you have children? I think it happens once in a while on Ryan's charters, but I never get it, especially when I was a sales rep. I mean, I knew so many people. I was always out and about, and it never came up. It never came up. And there's all these groups and these Facebook groups and people that post online about being child-free. And I feel like in their posting, they put a negative spin on the situation. So they'll post like media posts or something about being child-free that has like this negative connotation and creates this spin. So again, they're drawing in a negativity about a topic such as being child-free, instead of like just owning it and being happy and living your life. And granted, I do believe some people do that for a business reason in order to create, content and get followers and get people riled up and get the algorithm in their favor, all those things. But it's also a point of like, don't get consumed into that content, because again, you're going to be drawing that into you, right? So if you're not the original content creator of content that's like that, and I'm just using child-free as an example because I can personally relate and personally see it, but there's lots of other topics out there. I mean, pick a topic, you got it. And don't get involved in that person's desire to swirl up the algorithm or get more followers or get noticed. Just stay away from that negative content because it's not doing you any favors. You're going to end up drawing in more negativity than you would originally have drawn in. So again, we never get asked about being child-free. We don't. No one bothers us about it. If anything, when we go on vacation, people like tell us they're jealous. They're like, oh my God, I'm so jealous. You don't have kids. We don't, So it kind of goes down that path instead. But it doesn't mean that we don't like children or have any bad feelings towards anyone that does have children. We just don't have children. So it's just a fascinating concept to be living through for the past, we've been together 16 years. And to see how you can end up drawing in negativity versus just living your life in a happy place, you end up not drawing in that negativity. So I hope you like this podcast. It might have been a little longer than usual. I have no idea. And I won't know until I load it. But definitely check out Creating Confident Content. My Facebook group is called Beyond Basic, and once a month I'm doing a free masterclass in that Facebook group to share some content creation ideas to help you grow your business, grow your online business, and I'm just really excited about that. So I have a lot of great things on the horizon. I have a new lead magnet. I'm using the old-fashioned word, lead magnet. A ready to grow your online business 5 simple tips. So check that out as well. And I will put all of these links in the show notes, of course. So until next week, be grateful, be curious, always be learning, and you know what? Have some fun too. Thanks again.